I'm Russ Milheim from the Direct. Thank you for speaking with me today.
Of course, thank you for having me, bro.
Of course, of course. How you doing?
I'm good. Just trying to figure this hotel room out, you know? It's always a thing. There we go.
so
There we
you,
go.
I watched, Them the Scare season 2,
Yeah.
and great job. A
Thank you,
really,
bro.
really unique, inspired performance. It really stuck out. So I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
And part of that story has your character focusing on the early parts on how to be a killer, basically.
Yeah.
So for you, what were some of the biggest killers that inspired where you took the character? Because he's watching all these horror movies and you see some examples, but for you as an actor, what did you like hone in on?
I mean, very honest, I just, what was on the page, in my imagination of a particular kind of guy who's a loner. I can resonate with that. I'm a loner, an only child in a sense. They got that feeling but he has this feeling of there's somebody else out there for him, and the constant rejection and rejection within the field that he wants to be in, he aspires to be in as an actor. That constant rejection, along with all the life long rejections he's had gone through, and the torture of being in foster care and so on. It was all on a page. All I had to do was just be honest about how that would make me feel. Um, how of an oddball that kind of person could probably be, like just not aware, socially aware, just kind of in his own. He's the main character and the only character in his universe. And he's on an island by himself, and nobody wants to come to his island as much as he tries, as much as he tries to do something that he thinks people love. I think his admiration for acting is like the is transforming into something that people love and like. And for him to be himself, I mean, as we can see, he's never felt loved, never felt liked, never felt appreciated. So all I had to do was just drop into that idea of what that can do to a man, to never hear the words "I love you," never be hugged, but also to know that you have a family out there, to feel it, to remember everything. Yeah, I just had to be honest and use the rage that would conjure. Um, and I didn't want to create something that's been seen. I definitely didn't want to come into it with that idea. Um, and so I just had to really just go off of my instincts of how I would feel. And then just on the page with Lil Marvin and the team, the writers that wrote, it was really just there. I just had to really just lean into it.
Some of the imagery, especially kind of earlier in the show, is very reminiscent of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
Was that a specific parallel that was intended and discussed during the production, or did that just happenstance?
I think it's all happenstance. So we filmed this 2 years ago. You know how that, like, I saw Five Nights at Freddy. I think shortly after. Um, really enjoyed it. Creepy as hell. And that is a thought that came to my mind, that folks would see this and think Dahmer, think uh Five Nights Freddy, but we were filming all of these things. I think Dahmer was out, and everybody was having the experience of watching that brilliant work. I haven't yet watched it. Um, I I definitely wouldn't have. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch anything. The only things I could watch were cartoons, like dark cartoons, like Adult Swim, um, Primal. That was like what I went to sleep with, like, because it was just one. I didn't want to see anything that would motivate me to not do something or to do something. Um, and yeah, I just didn't want to have any weird influence. Um, and just be as original as possible. So all of it's happenstance.
Speaking, or I want to talk about the titular, the scare, the supernatural entity
Mhm.
that targets you. What were you told ahead of time about how that works and what it is?
Well, it's a manifestation of his rage. In a sense, it's a demon that that feeds on that loneliness, that despair, that anger, that pain, that heartache. And to think, if you've been conjuring these feelings, these notions since you were 3, 4 years old. I mean, constantly thinking about all of the pain and the things that you could inflict, but also the part of you that's like, no, we don't, and just constantly that for years and years and years. You know, I think Edmund is on a spectrum, on a wide spectrum in a sense. If you look at him, he definitely needed a whole lot of guidance. But I think, I think that's a manifestation. The scare is a manifestation of all his pain and rage, um, in a sense, right? It just coming to him, that all the world, his whole world caving in on him in desperation.
Is it something that you think existed before Edmund, or did Edmund manifest it into existence?
I think it was something that existed before Edmund. I think it's something that that I think it's just, generational trauma, and it makes its way. It's interesting how that happens. Like you can have, no cognizant lines to your past. Okay, he's adopted, right? He's in a foster care. He doesn't know his mother, he doesn't know their history, but how is that in the blood somehow? How is, you know what I mean, that awkwardness, even to Dawn's own child, my nephew, Edmund's nephew, how he's a little awkward and a little spectrum of some sort. And then, but there's something this, and the reason for that is all traumatic. He's that way from traumatic events, his mom and father splitting, and, the things that can do to the mind. And I think it's just something within the blood. And it's an interesting, I think after watching, it's interesting to go down that road and think about, wow, how that occurs in our lives. And I thought it was really well written. I mean, I think this anthology is really well written in the sense of like creating that particular dialogue to think about, our past ancestors and what they've done and what they've been through and how that was passed down, possibly. It's a really interesting thing. I think, yes, I think this demon always existed though. When I think of the tap dance man,
Yeah.
I think, what I think as I'm right now watching it and living with it, because as filming it, I was just thinking, this is a manifestation of his pain, etc. Right? But then, you get to the end, and then Tap Dance Man comes back, and you begin to wonder if this particular type of, I don't know, demon, it has embedded itself within this family's blood, and there's some reconciliation that needs to happen, but that has to be deeper. Then, I mean, both characters have been deceived, so it's hard for them to go and look back and say, "Oh wow, this is what our parents went through, and this is why I have these dreams, etc." I don't know. It's just an interesting, spooky experience and scenario.
Now, the whole monster look you had going was pretty terrifying, but I gotta
Man.
admit, it sure did look a little uncomfortable. What was it like getting into that look and filming in it?
Oh man, the guys at AFX, man, they really like, they came together with Lil Marvin, and they created this idea based off of the Raggedy Ann dolls. So in with that also, because it looked different when it now I will say it did look different before I got there. Um I remember I seeing a picture of the idea of what he would look like, and it kind of favored a very demonic, like it's as if Edward Scissorhands were to meet Hellraiser. Like it was like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like very like in that realm. Um, Maybe Labyrinth in that sense. Like I'm seeing the picture, and then as the shoot went on, I think Lil Marvin and Andre and them just really started to think about, along with me being there and with my ideas of how I thought of Edmund and so on and so forth. They came up with this idea of just a beefed up, um, doll, Raggedy Ann doll. But when you think about it, he's a manifestation of Edmund's fears and wants and his rage and whatnot. Edmund wants to be, since the 80s, so think of all the most popular people. You think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you think of Carl Weathers, you think of all of these big giant movie stars. Edmund's not a big dude, but he's auditioning for parts that want him to be a big guy, want him to be, you know, an aggressive looking kind of guy, strong. And I think that kind of plays into what the scare became, is like this beefed up idea that Edmund had of himself, but also with all of the skin, like his body made of all of these different pieces of skin that he's taken from people. It's freaking hell. No, it was just out of control, man. And you know, I thought it was gonna be a stunt double the entire time. For me, I was like, man, who's gonna do the voices? Who's gonna do the, like, because the way it's written is just this giant towering figure.
Yeah.
And in the middle of filming, I asked the question, and Lil Marvin looks to me and is like, "You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You can do this." Like, I was like, "Really?" I mean, because I would love to, right? The kid in me that's watched all of these movies and all the behind the scenes and inspired to, like, oh my God, I can't wait to sit 6 hours in a chair getting gooped up to become a superhero or a demon of some sort. So yeah, it was far out when he told me that. And the next day, I'm sitting in a chair, like, thank God I'm not claustrophobic. I mean, they're dumping this stuff on me, man, and it was far out, bro. It was really far out to them creating it, and how he walked, how he talked, the teeth and everything. It was bizarre.
Now, you know, by the end of the story, it sure looks like Edmund is gone for good. Can you confirm if that is the case, or do you feel like there may be something of him still out there?
I don't know. When I watch it, I'm sitting there, okay, is he gone? I don't know. I don't know. You know, when the tap dance man comes back, it's just, that means anything can happen. Anything. I mean, if he's not gone, you know, it's just like, it says there's a bigger play that's happening.
Obviously, in the future, you know, maybe Edmund could come back in the future season, but also, you know, like, you know, Deborah was, you know, she's played two characters.
Yeah.
So for you, you know, is that a possibility? Would you come back for season 3 if they were like, hey, we have a new role for you?
Anything Lil Marvin wants to do, just tell me the date and where. I'll be there. And you can tell me the character then. You don't have to, nothing. I just want to, it was the most exciting, exhilarating experience, open experience, fun experience that I've ever had thus far in my career. I mean, to walk on set and you don't have to imagine anything. I mean, the guy's set design, I mean, you don't have to imagine anything. You feel the spookiness that we're about to create. And then the entire crew. I mean, I would do anything. I will follow Lil Marvin to the end of the earth.
Yeah.
This experience that I've had, bro, as an artist, pushed me in ways that I didn't know I could go for. But the writing, everything that you get from it's a gift that keeps on giving. So I would do anything with Lil Marvin, anything.
You mentioned, you know, the tap dance man. And it made me think, like, you know, what do you say hypothetically, right? You know, Edmund comes back, or the scare comes back.
Yeah.
What would a scene with those two look like? And on the same screen at the same time interacting?
Wow. You know, I'll say I don't know. So a big anchor for wanting to do them, not just because it was a just brilliant show and well written and all the actors, and just, of course, wanting to be a part of something. Also a struggling actor, so you just say you want to say yes to any job you get. The performance of the dance man really moved me, and then to see it in person, to come to set and watch him do his takes, I cried watching him do his scene, because it was just so palpable. Like, yeah, you know how spooky it is when you're watching it on TV, but in action on set was out of control. Like everybody could feel it. You couldn't even see him on camera. You could just hear him walking and his feet stumping on the ground. And then when you see him, you hear him before you see him, and then you see him. I was like, oh my God. And that was the day I saw him shoot. The next day is my first day as the Scare. So for me, yes, I would love to. If we were in the same scene together, I don't know, it would be crazy, but he was a big anchor into how far you could go, the possibilities. It was just out
Yeah.
of control.
Yeah, I want to shift on you. You're also in the Chi, right?
Shy.
The Chi.
Everyone does that. Don't worry. It's
I'm
okay.
happy to fall into the same pitfall.
Like Chi-Town.
Okay, the Chi. Did I say it right? Did I get it? The Chi?
Shy. Like
Chai. Like chai tea, right?
Like you're shy. You know, like he's shy. He's not
Chai.
scared. He's just shy.
Okay,
Shy.
Chai.
Yeah.
Season 6, part 2 is on its way.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tease about what fans can expect?
You know, man, we left off on a great cliffhanger for part 1 of season 6. Due to is raising hell, and there's a lot that can happen, and yeah, no one's safe. There's a fight for who's gonna reign. There's a fight for protection and power, and everybody's involved in it. And so yeah, it's I mean, it's going to be crazy. I actually forgot a lot about it, a lot of the stuff, so I can't wait to watch it because I'm watching it with new eyes. I just know that it's intense and nobody's safe. And I mean, it's going to be one for the books.
Nobody's safe. That's a good tease. I was gonna also ask. You mentioned that you forgot a lot of stuff. So I don't know if you have an answer for this. But if you were to point to one element of these new episodes that you think really stands out compared to the rest of the series, what would it be?
To be fair, I want to say our camera crew, our guys, man. The way that the first half of season 6 to the second season they've just taken to another level of the storytelling, and a lot of the storytelling is in the way that it's shot, which is really really cool and cinematic, right? Like we all love as movie lovers, when it's just the silence and just the way this camera is moving is just telling you so much, right? And I think that really, I mean, the audience, I think, is noticing that, how that has really moved the story along.
Now the show was renewed for season 7 last
Yes.
month. Do you know when cameras start rolling for that?
We started
Oh,
today.
you've already started.
I'm sorry, not today. We started pre-production today. We start shooting next week. Yeah.
That would be impressive if you started post production already and you haven't even started rolling the cameras.
Man, that'd be right. Be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, AI is going crazy, man. So many things you can do with it.
For season 7, what do you personally want to explore with your character that the show has not done yet?
I'm really interested in really fleshing out his duality. I know we're hinting towards it. We're talking about it within the second half, the first half and the second half of season 6. Season 7, I really like to. I mean, I really see him get a hold of that duality, knowing that trying to being this image in the day, but also having to be this figure at night.
Yeah.
And I just think it would just be fun, to play with, and something different that I haven't done yet. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. Hopefully move the story forward.
Yeah. Now with that show, but also with them the Scare, a lot of people are kind of rediscovering or discovering your work. And I'm a big Marvel fan. And there are a lot of people that are kind of voicing how they'd love to see you like take over the role of Kang the Conqueror. Is this something that you'd ever have interest in pursuing?
Oh man, Marvel as a whole, yes. Kang the Conqueror, no. But I would not take the meeting. No, no. There's so many brilliant characters. The comic, I mean, there's so many characters. There's so many characters I would love a take at.
Well, now
Mm.
you gotta pick one. What's your favorite? What's at the top of that list?
Man, I know it's gonna throw people. Thrasher, I really was in as a kid. I loved Thrasher, especially when I was introduced to him via Spider-Man. I just thought that was really cool. I skateboard. I just thought it was really kind of really sick. Um, who else? I mean, they're working on Blade. Blade is awesome, but I just can't unsee Wesley. But also, I love Mahershala Ali, so I just know that that's just going to be a brilliant take on that. Um, Man, they're already doing Wonder Boy. That's taken. uh, I'd have to really think about it.
What about the
I'm
DCU? Do you have anything over there that you're? No, we're.
DC. Yes. What's his name? Oh my God, I want to say he's wrapped up in voodoo. I can't think of his name.
I know a
It's
Marvel character. Brother Voodoo is in Marvel.
Brother Voodoo.
I
So
think
is that
that.
Marvel?
I'm pretty sure that's his name. Yeah, he's like a
Brother.
Doctor Strange-esque character.
He has his face, the makeup on his face is like he's all black and he has this white, almost like a skull that's like drawn on his face. And
You really like that makeup experience from them. You
oh
just
man,
gotta keep doing it.
the transformation is really cool when you're able to just transform. Now I don't know, it doesn't last long, so that's the hard part. You got to shoot it right away. But man, I'm just game to have fun, bro. I get to do something I've always wanted to do, and the inner child in me, like this project was the first time I got to really like just really pour my inner child into a character, and I just want to have more of those experiences. It was just therapeutic and just fun. We had a ball on set.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true.
Well, I'll have to hope that you get to return. And I think it would be neat to have, Tap Dance Man and
I'll be far out.
Scare on screen at the same time. I feel like that's too good of an opportunity to pass up. And whatever it is for season 3, so you can have 3 of these unique creations.
Whatever they want to do, I am game for it. I'm game for it, bro.
And I'll also cross my fingers for Thrasher. I know no one may know him, but they could. They just need you in the role.
There's a possibility, people might know him. They'd be really, really cool. Adam would be really cool in the DCU. Adam, I think Adam is such a unique character. They always kind of hint to him, show him in the cartoons, in the animation versions of all the movies that they've come out with, DCU. But Adam is really powerful. I think that would be really.
And just to confirm, we're talking about the shape shifting Adam or the size shifting, or Black Adam.
I'm talking about. Maybe I'm getting his name wrong. No, it's DCU. He's radioactive.
Okay, I think I got him picturing him.
Radioactive. I believe his name Atom. I think that's his name.
I gotta do some Google searching and improve my knowledge.
Me too. I'm about to pick up my phone. Make sure I'm not saying the right guy. Yeah. But I see him right now. I see him hooked up to this reactor that they're draining him. They're using his power to create this radioactive beams that they're using. I forget what animation that was. I believe it's the Justice League War of Worlds or something like that. Yeah, no, I'm just game for whatever, bro.
Hey, James Gunn loves his unknown characters, so there's always a chance.
Listen, let's go wherever you want. Static Shock, wherever you want to go. I'm in.
Well, thank you for talking to me today. It was a pleasure.
No, absolute pleasure, man. I love what you're doing. I'm just grateful that you took the time to talk to me.
Of course. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your future at Marvel and DC. I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna put it in the universe.
There it is. Can't wait to do this again and laugh about it.